Welcome to Global Bible Reading. The book of 1 Samuel. Reading from the English version for the deaf. Chapter 6. The Philistines kept the holy box in their land 7 months. The Philistines called their priests and magicians. The Philistines said, "What must we do with the Lord's box? Tell us how to send the box back home." The priests and magicians answer, "If you send back the holy box of the God of Israel, don't send it away empty. You must offer gifts so the God of Israel will take away your sins. Then you will be healed. You will be made pure. You should do these things so God will stop punishing you." The Philistines asked, "What kind of gifts should we send for Israel's God to forgive us?" The priests and magicians answer, "There are 5 Philistine leaders, 1 leader for each city. All of you people and your leaders had the same problems. So you must make 5 gold models to look like 5 tumors, and you must make 5 gold models to look like 5 mice. So make models of the tumors and models of the mice that are ruining the country. Give these gold models to the God of Israel as payment. Then maybe the God of Israel will stop punishing you, your gods, and your land. Don't be stubborn like Pharaoh and the Egyptians. God punished the Egyptians. That is why the Egyptians let the Israelites leave Egypt. You must build a new wagon and get 2 cows that just had calves. These must be cows that have never walked in the fields. Tie the cows to the wagon so they can pull it. Then take the calves back home and put them in their pen. Don't let them follow their mothers. Put the Lord's holy box on the wagon. You must put the golden models in the bag beside the box. The golden models are your gifts for God to forgive your sins. Send the wagon straight on its way. Watch the wagon. If the wagon goes toward Bethshemesh in Israel's own land, then the Lord has given us this great sickness. But if the cows do not go straight to Bethshemesh, then we will know that Israel's God has not punished us. We will know that our sickness just happened. The Philistines did what the priests and magicians said. The Philistines found 2 cows that had just had calves. The Philistines tied the cows to the wagon and put the calves in their pens at home. Then the Philistines put the Lord's holy box on the wagon. They also put the bag with the golden models of the tumors and mice on the wagon. The cows went straight to Bethshemesh. The cows stayed on the road, moving all the way. The cows did not turn right or left. The Philistines' rulers followed the cows as far as the city limits of Bethshemesh. The people of Bethshemesh were harvesting their wheat in the valley. They looked up and saw the holy box. They were very happy to see the box again. They ran to get it. The wagon came to the field that belonged to Joshua of Bethshemesh. In this field, the wagon stopped near a large rock. The people of Bethshemesh cut up the wagon. Then they killed the cows. They sacrificed the cows to the Lord. The Levites took down the Lord's holy box. They also took down the bag that had the golden models. The Levites put the Lord's box and the bag on the large rock. That day the people of Bethshemesh offered burnt offerings to the Lord. The 5 Philistine rulers watched the people of Bethshemesh do all these things. Then the 5 Philistine rulers went back to Ekron that same day. In this way the Philistines sent golden models of tumors as gifts for their sins to the Lord. They sent one golden model of a tumor for each Philistine town. These Philistine towns were Ashdod, Gaza, Askelon, Gad, and Ekron. And the Philistines also sent golden models of mice. The number of these golden mice was the same number as the towns that belonged to the 5 Philistine rulers. These towns had walls around them, and each town had village around it. The people of Bethshemesh put the Lord's holy box on a rock. The rock is still in the field of Joshua from Bethshemesh, but there were no priests. There when the men of Bethshemesh saw the holy box of the Lord, so God killed 70 men from Bethshemesh. The people of Bethshemesh cried because the Lord punished them so severely. So the people of Bethshemesh said, "Where is a priest that can care for this holy box? Where should the box go from here?" There was a priest at Kiriath Jearim. The people of Bethshemesh sent messengers to the people of Kiriath Jearim. The messengers said, "The Philistines have brought back the Lord's holy box. Come down and take it to your city." Chapter 7. The men of Kiriath Jearim came and took the Lord's holy box. They took the Lord's box to Abinadab's house on the hill. They did a special ceremony to prepare Abinadab's son, Eleazar, to guard the Lord's box. The box stayed at Kiriath Jearim a long time. It stayed there 20 years. The people of Israel began to follow the Lord again. Samuel told the people of Israel, "If you are really coming back to the Lord with all your heart, then you must throw away your foreign gods. You must throw away your idols of Ashtoreth, and you must give yourselves fully to the Lord. You must serve only the Lord. Then the Lord will save you from the Philistines." So the Israelites threw away their statues of Baal and Ashtoreth. The Israelites served only the Lord. Samuel said, "All Israel must meet at Mizpah. I will pray for the Lord for you." The Israelites met together at Mizpah. They got water and poured it out before the Lord. In this way they began a time of fasting. They did not eat any food that day, and they confessed their sins. They said, "We have sinned against the Lord." So Samuel served as a judge of Israel at Mizpah. The Philistines heard that the Israelites were meeting at Mizpah. The Philistines' rulers went to fight against the Israelites. The Israelites heard that the Philistines were coming, and they became afraid. The Israelites said to Samuel, "Don't stop praying to the Lord our God for us. Ask the Lord to save us from the Philistines." Samuel took a baby lamb. He burned the lamb as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. Samuel prayed to the Lord for Israel. The Lord answered Samuel's prayer. While Samuel was burning the sacrifice, the Philistines came to fight Israel. But the Lord caused loud thunder near the Philistines. This confused the Philistines. The thunder scared the Philistines, and they become confused. Their leaders were not able to control them. So the Israelites defeated the Philistines in battle. The men of Israel ran out of Mizpah and chased the Philistines. They chased them all the way to Beth-kar. They killed Philistine soldiers all along the way. After this, Samuel set up a special stone. He did this to help people remember the things God did. Samuel put the stone between Mizpah and Sin. Samuel named the stone Stone of Help. Samuel said, "The Lord help us all the way to this place." The Philistines were defeated. They did not enter the land of Israel again. The Lord was against the Philistines during the rest of Samuel's life. The Philistines had taken towns from Israel. The Philistines took the towns in the area from Ekron to Gad, but the Israelites won back those towns, and Israel also took back the land around these towns. There was also peace between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel led Israel all his life. Samuel went from place to place, judging the people of Israel. Every year he traveled around the country. He went to Bethel, Gilgal, and Mizpah. So he judged and ruled the people of Israel in all these places. But Samuel's home was in Ramah. So Samuel always went back to Ramah. Samuel judged and ruled Israel from that town, and Samuel built an altar to the Lord in Ramah. Chapter 8. When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges for Israel. Samuel's first son was named Joel. His second son was named Abijah. Joel and Abijah were judges in Bethsaba. But Samuel's sons did not live the same way he did. Joel and Abijah accepted bribes. They took money secretly and changed their decisions in court. They cheated people in court. So all the elders, leaders of Israel met together. They went to Ramah to meet with Samuel. The elders, leaders said to Samuel, "You are old, and your sons don't live right. They are not like you. Now give us a king to rule us like all the other nations." So the elders, leaders asked for a king to lead them. Samuel thought this was a bad idea. So Samuel prayed to the Lord. The Lord told Samuel, "Do what the people tell you. They have not rejected you. They have rejected me. They don't want me to be their king. They are doing the same thing they have always done. I took them out of Egypt, but they left me and served other gods. They are doing the same to you. So listen to the people and do what they say, but give them a warning. Tell the people what a king will do to them. Tell them how a king rules people." These people asked for a king. So Samuel told those people everything the Lord said. Samuel said, "If you have a king ruling over you, this is what he will do. He will take away your sons. He will force your sons to serve him. He will force them to be soldiers. They must fight from his church and become whole soldiers in his army. Your sons will become guards running in front of the king's chariot. A king will force your sons to become soldiers. Some of them will be officers over 1,000 men, and others will be officers over 50 men. A king will force some of your sons to plow his fields and gather his harvest. He will force some of your sons to make weapons for war. He will force them to make things for his chariots. A king will take your daughters. He will force some of your daughters to make perfume for him. And he will force some of your daughters to cook and bake for him. A king will take your best fields, vineyards, and olive groves. He will take those things from you and give them to his officers. He will take 1/10 of your grain and grapes. He will give these things to his officers and servants. This king will take your men and women servants. He will take your best cattle and your donkeys. He will use them all for his own work, and he will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you yourselves will become slaves of this king. When that time comes, you will cry because of the king you choose. But the Lord will not answer you at that time. But the people would not listen to Samuel. They said, "No, we want a king to rule over us. Then we will be the same as all the other nations. Our king will lead us. He will go with us and fight our battles." Samuel listened to the people and then repeated their words to the Lord. The Lord answered, "You must listen to them. Give them a king." Then Samuel told the people of Israel, "Fine, you will have a new king. Now all of you people go back home." Chapter 9. Kish was an important man from the family group of Benjamin. Kish was the son of Abiel. Abiel was the son of Jerel. Jerel was the son of Bechorath. Bechorath was the son of Aphiah, a man from Benjamin. Kish had a son named Saul. Saul was a handsome young man. There was no one more handsome than Saul. Saul stood a head taller than any other man in Israel. One day Kish's donkeys became lost. So Kish said to his son Saul, "Take one of the servants and go look for the donkeys." Saul went to look for the donkeys. Saul walked through the hills of Ephraim. Then Saul walked through the area around Salisa. But Saul and the servant could not find Kish's donkeys. So Saul and the servant went to the area around Salim. But the donkeys were not there either. So Saul traveled through the land of Benjamin. But he and the servant still could not find the donkeys. Finally, Saul and the servants came to the town named Job. Saul said to his servant, "Let's go back. My father will stop thinking about the donkeys and start worrying about us." But the servant answered, "A man of God is in this town. People respect him. Everything he says comes true. So let's go into town. Maybe the man of God will tell us where we should go next." Saul said to his servant, "Sure, we can go into town. But what can we give to him? We have no gift to give the man of God. Even the food in our bags is gone. What can we give him?" Again the servant answered Saul, "Look, I have a little bit of money. Let's give it to the man of God." Then he will tell us where we should go. Saul said to his servant, "That is a good idea. Let's go." So they went to the town where the man of God was. Saul and the servant were walking up the hill toward town. They met some young women on the road. The young women were coming out to get water. Saul and the servant asked the young women, "Is the seer here?" In the past, people in Israel called a prophet a seer. So, if they wanted to ask something from God, they would say, "Let's go to the seer." The young women answered, "Yes, the seer is here. He is just up the road. He came to town today." Some people are meeting together today to share in a fellowship offering at the place for worship. So go into town and you will find him. If you hurry, you can catch him before he goes up to eat at the place for worship. The seer blesses the sacrifice, so the people wouldn't start eating until he gets there. If you hurry, you can find the seer. Saul and the servants started walking up the hill to town. Just as they came into town, they saw Samuel walking toward them. Samuel was just coming out of town on his way to the place for worship. The day before, the Lord had told Samuel, "At this time tomorrow I will send a man to you. He will be from the family group of Benjamin. You must anoint him and make him the new leader over my people Israel. This man will save my people from the Philistines. I have seen my people suffering. I have listened to cries from my people." Samuel saw Saul, and the Lord said to him, "This is the man I told you about. He will rule my people." Saul came to Samuel near the gate. Saul asked Samuel, "Please tell me, where is the seer's house?" Samuel answered, "I am the seer. Go ahead of me to the place for worship. You and your servant will eat with me today. I will let you go home tomorrow morning. I will answer all your questions. And don't worry about the donkeys that you lost 3 days ago. They have been found. Now all of Israel wants you. They want you, all of the people in your father's family." Saul answered, "But I am a member of the family group of Benjamin. It is the smallest family group in Israel, and my family is the smallest in the family group of Benjamin. Why do you say Israel wants me?" Then Samuel took Saul and his servant to the eating area. About 30 people had been invited to eat together and share the sacrifice. Samuel gave Saul and his servant the most important place at the table. Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the meat I gave you. It is the share I told you to save." The cook brought out the thigh and put it on a table in front of Saul. Samuel said, "Eat the meat that was put in front of you. It was saved for you for this special time when I called the people together." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. After they finished eating, they came down from the place for worship and went back to town. Samuel made a bed for Saul on the roof, and Saul went to sleep. Early the next morning, Samuel shouted to Saul on the roof. Samuel said, "Get up! I will send you on your way. Saul got up and went out of the house with Samuel. Saul, his servant, and Samuel were walking together near the edge of town. Samuel said to Saul, "Tell your servant to go on ahead of us. I have a message for you from God." So the servant walked ahead of them. Chapter 10. Samuel took a jar of the special oil. Samuel poured the oil on Saul's head. Samuel kissed Saul and said, "The Lord has anointed you to be the leader over the people who belong to him. You will control the Lord's people. You will save them from the enemies that are all around them. The Lord has anointed you to be ruler over his people. Here is a sign that will prove this is true. After you leave me today, you will meet two men near Rachel's tomb on the border of Benjamin's at Jalja. The two men will say to you, 'Someone found the donkeys you were looking for. Your father stopped worrying about his donkeys. Now he is worrying about you. He is saying, "What will I do about my son?" Samuel said, "Then you will go until you come to the large oak tree at Tabor. 3 men will meet you there. Those 3 men will be on their way to worship God at Bethel. 1 man will be carrying 3 young goats. The second man will be carrying 3 loaves of bread. And the third man will have a bottle of wine. These 3 men will say hello to you. They will offer you 2 loaves of bread, and you will accept those 2 loaves of bread from them. Then you will go to Gibeah Elohim. There is a Philistine fort in that place. When you come to this town, a group of prophets will come out. These prophets will come down from the place for worship. They will be prophesying. They will be playing harps, tambourines, flutes, and lyres. Then the Lord's Spirit will come on you with great power. You will be changed. You will be like a different man. You will begin to prophesy with these prophets. After that happens, you can do whatever you choose to do. Why? Because God will be with you. Go to Gilgal before me. Then I will come there to you, and I will offer burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. But you must wait 7 days. Then I will come and tell you what to do. Just as Saul turned to leave Samuel, God turned Saul's life around. All those things happened that day. Saul and his servant went to Gibeah Elohim. At that place, Saul met a group of prophets. God's Spirit came on Saul with great power, and Saul prophesied with the prophets. Some of the people who had known Saul before saw him prophesying with the prophets. So they asked each other, "What has happened to Kish's son? Is Saul also one of the prophets?" A man living in Gibeah Elohim said, "Yes, and it seems that he is their leader." That is why this became a famous saying, "Is Saul also one of the prophets?" After Saul finished prophesying, he went to the place for worship near his home. Saul's uncle asked Saul and his servant, "Where have you been?" Saul said, "We are looking for the donkeys. Where we could not find them, we went to see Samuel. Saul's uncle said, "Please tell me, what did Samuel say to you?" Saul answered, "Samuel told us the donkeys were already found." Saul did not tell his uncle everything. Saul did not tell him the things Samuel said about the kingdom. Samuel told all the people of Israel to meet together with the Lord at Mizpah. Samuel told the people of Israel, "The Lord, the God of Israel, says, I led Israel out of Egypt. I saved you from Egypt's control and from the other kingdoms that try to hurt you. But today you have rejected your God. Your God saves you from all your troubles and problems. But you said, 'No, we want a king to rule us.' Now come, stand before the Lord in your families and family groups." Samuel brought all the family groups of Israel near. Then Samuel began to choose a new king. First, the family group of Benjamin was chosen. Samuel told each family in the family group of Benjamin to pass by. Matri's family was chosen. Then Samuel told each man in Matri's family to walk by. Saul, son of Kish, was chosen. But when the people looked for Saul, they could not find him. Then they asked the Lord, "Has Saul come here yet?" The Lord said, "Saul is hiding behind the supplies." The people ran and took Saul out from behind the supplies. Saul stood up among the people. Saul was a head taller than any other person. Samuel said to all the people, "See the man the Lord has chosen. There is no person like Saul among the people." Then the people shouted, "Long live the king!" Samuel explained the rules of the kingdom to the people. He wrote the rules in a book. He put the book before the Lord. Then Samuel told the people to go home. Saul also went to his home in Gibeah. God touched the hearts of brave men, and these brave men began to follow Saul. But some troublemakers said, "How can these men save us?" They say bad things about Saul and refuse to bring gifts to him. But Saul said nothing. Nahash, the king of the Ammonites, had been hurting the family groups of Gad and Reuben. Nahash poked out the right eye of each of the men. Nahash did not allow anyone to help them. Nahash, king of the Ammonites, poked out the right eye of every Israelite man living in the area east of the Jordan River. But 7,000 Israelite men ran away from the Ammonites and came to Jabesh Gilead.